So we talked about electrons and how they circle that nucleus in something called an orbital. So electron orbitals are a space where the electrons are located. We call them electron shells. So orbital shells, the same thing. How many electrons an atom has will determine how those orbitals or those shells are going to be filled. The way those shells fill give atoms each atom very unique characteristics. So the first orbital, the closest one to the nucleus, always holds 2 electrons. The second orbital, or the second shell, will always hold a max of 8. The third will always hold a max of 8. So when we look at something like hydrogen, hydrogen has 1 proton and 1 electron. It actually has no neutrons whatsoever. So it has a partially filled outer shell. It only has 1 electron in that outer shell. Oxygen has a fully filled first shell and a partially filled second. Carbon also has a fully filled first shell, and it's hard to see in this image right here because it's giving you a 3-dimensional image. But if we have that nucleus, and I'm not going to draw protons and electrons, but remember, carbon has 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and those are going to be found in the nucleus. And then it has 6 electrons. So in that first orbital, or that first shell, we have 2. It's a completely filled first shell. And in that second shell, 6 minus 2 is 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's got 4 open spots in that outer orbital. So electrons are hugely important because electrons are responsible for the bonding behavior of atoms. Responsible for that bonding behavior of atoms. And that bonding behavior is entirely determined on how those shells or how those orbitals are filled.